What's up, Taiwan? I'm Louise with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. US presidential candidate Donald Trump has been injured in a shooting at an election rally. The US Secret Service says they killed the shooter. One person who attended the rally is also dead, and 2 other spectators are injured. In the last few minutes, the FBI has formally identified the shooter as Thomas Matthew Crooks. A motive is not yet known. Donald Trump, the presumed Republican candidate in the US presidential election, rallying his supporters in rural Pennsylvania. Moments later, an apparent assassination attempt.
Take a look at what happened.
Secret Service agents rushed to Trump as panic and confusion broke out.
Somebody hollers, "Get down on the ground," and everybody's going down on the ground as low as they can get.
Trump was taken off stage, blood dripping from his ear, but defiant. The Secret Service says they killed the suspected shooter. A spectator at the rally in Butler County also died, according to the county's district attorney. Trump posted later on social media, "It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin." The attack was quickly condemned across the political spectrum.
Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
The violence is another unprecedented twist in this already turbulent election campaign. It comes days before Trump is set to formally accept his party's nomination.
It's absolutely stunning. It's just going to drive people to even be more for him.
I feel like the nomination is coming up on Monday, and I feel like they don't want him. They don't want this man to be president because he's trying his hardest to save America, and that's not what they want.
4 months out from an election that the whole world is watching, the fallout from this act of violence threatens to worsen the deep political divisions in the United States. Justin Wu and Louise for TaiwanPlus. 2 Russian warships have arrived in China for joint exercises near the contested South China Sea. The exercises were announced following the NATO summit in Washington and come as the 2 sides expand their strategic partnership. China's defense ministry says the purpose of the exercise is to demonstrate the 2 countries' resolve and ability to address maritime security threats. China is also hosting exercises with Russia ally Belarus on the border of Poland until July the 19th. North Korea has threatened to boost its nuclear capabilities in response to new defense guidelines from the US and South Korea. Those 2 countries signed the guidelines on joint nuclear deterrence on the sidelines of the NATO summit last week. It's part of efforts to cope with North Korea's growing nuclear arsenal and threats to use it. North Korea says the guidelines show an intention to invade, calling them a reckless provocation. After more than 4 decades, a key changing of the guard ceremony is coming to an end. Our reporter Tiffany Wong went to see one of the final ceremonies at Taipei's Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall.
Here at the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, one of the most notable places in Taipei, a decades-long tradition comes to an end. Every hour, a changing of the guard ceremony takes place here in this memorial, celebrating one of Taiwan's most controversial figures, Chiang Kai-shek. As President Chiang brought in a violent period of martial law that lasted 38 years, even after his death. Decades on, Taiwan is a democracy, but the current government wants to make sure the harsh realities of the authoritarian past aren't forgotten or celebrated. The decision to remove the honor guard from the memorial is part of a campaign to remove the, quote, cult of personality and glorification of authoritarianism associated with Chiang Kai-shek. Many people came here to witness the historic ceremony on its final day.
就一直在跟小朋友讲说，一些历史的问题，我觉得还蛮有意义的。
因为在外面就只是在一个广场空地，就是跟我们一些学校的一些仪队表演，好像感觉没有差太多。但是来这里表演的话，感觉就是比较有意义跟一个纪念性。
Beginning July 15th, the Honor Guard will move to this new location on Democracy Boulevard instead. The ceremonies will continue, but with some distance from the legacy of a man who still divides Taiwan today. Scott Huang and Tiffany Wong at Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang, is calling on supporters to back Keelung Mayor George Xie as he faces a possible recall vote. The mayor's opponents say his controversial handling of a land dispute is reason enough to remove him. They say they have enough signatures to hold a recall. The Kuomintang is already campaigning to help Xie keep his position.
基隆的罢免案也攸关到明年的整个国会的局势，甚至台湾未来的局势，所以我想这个罢免案是没有正当性的。未来的这个罢免潮，我想对台湾的民主都是一种伤害。
Police have made a second arrest in a fatal shooting in southern Taiwan. But as John Van Trieste now reports, much about the case, including the motive, is still unclear.
After a week of police work, much is still unknown about the shooting of Lin Shijie, the head of a local fishers association, killed outside his home in the southern city of Tainan. But the number of officers on the case, including these 30 from Tainan's Criminal Investigation Corps, shows the concern of local officials. Whoever the shooter was, it seems they set fire to the car they drove to the scene of the killing, switching to a second car and driving to a neighboring city. There, they splashed acid on the steering wheel, seats, and handles. Initial evidence pointed to a person who once owned one of these cars.
这个部分，因为我们还有其他证据要去做一个确认，好，那就是说，至少以目前我们调查的结果，那他是确实有在跟这台车是有关联性的。
But this first suspect had sold the car a year ago. He's since been released for lack of evidence. Police have now made a second arrest, and while they're not giving away any details, they say there's a third person of interest too, possibly the owner of the other car.
今天下午比较能够有所的一个进展，就是我们目前也有锁定一名通缉犯。
But whether even more people might have been involved, and what their motive could have been, are where, for now, this case hits a wall. Patrick Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
New Taipei City Mayor Hou Yo-yi has sent his condolences to the family of a police officer killed in a car accident. The 28-year-old officer died when a man crashed into his police car in the Sanjong district. 4 other people were injured. The driver is known to police and has multiple convictions. The case has thrown a spotlight onto first responders' safety on the job, with multiple firefighters and police killed in the line of duty in recent years. Heavy rains and flooding across Asia have triggered landslides, submerged buildings, and forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes. In northern India, a river flooded the surrounding villages and fields. People had to shelter on their roofs and commute using small boats. And in southwestern China, the same problem. Heavy rains flooded residential areas and triggered landslides, blocking major highways. China's Weather Bureau says the rainy season has become more and more unpredictable because of climate change. Bamboo raft makers from Taiwan's indigenous Amis community are working with the local government to revitalize their craft. Irene Lin now reports on the workshop helping keep their traditions afloat.
All hands on deck. These indigenous Amis youth from Taidong in eastern Taiwan are hauling their first scratch-built bamboo raft into the sea for trials. It's part of a 2-month course organized by a local community college and craftspeople to revive a fading traditional art. After 10 minutes of smooth sailing, the raft is declared seaworthy. Bamboo rafts were once an important part of the Amis people's traditional way of life. This is the first time raft building has been taught as a college course. With instructions from elderly craftspeople, the students are building the rafts exactly how it's been done for generations. by sourcing materials from the wilderness, then building them into a stable raft.
我比较有兴趣的是，当然是就最原始的方式，就是那个从去采藤，然后到处理，然后再到那个绑的一个技巧这样。
The course is not the first or only attempt to preserve Amis seafaring traditions. Last month, the Taidong Austronesian Community College successfully sailed a bamboo raft to the Taiwan's outlying Green Island, around 40 kilometers away. On the journey, they had to navigate a powerful ocean current known as the Kuroshio or Black Current. The Amis elders say their ancestors migrated across the Pacific on these rafts, and the college course is just one way they're keeping their seafaring heritage alive. Chris Ma and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
A new treatment is being developed for the eye disease glaucoma, which causes vision loss and blindness. Joyce Sung reports on the work of Taiwanese scientists.
After years of trial and error, a breakthrough for treating glaucoma. Scientists at Taiwan's Industrial Technology Research Institute, or ITRI, have developed a new dual-target medicine for the condition, which causes loss of vision and blindness. They say it manages high eye pressure more effectively and safely by targeting two enzymes, helping reduce clogs and drain eye fluid at the same time.
就算现在青光眼有一些治疗的药物，可是它对我们所谓的超高眼压，目前其实是没有药物可以治疗的。青光眼的药物其实很长一段时间都没有新的药物开发。
Division Director Felice Chiang says her team was determined to find a solution for glaucoma since it's the leading cause of blindness in developed countries. A progressive disease, glaucoma occurs when the optic nerve is damaged. The odds for this increase with abnormal eye pressure and with age. In Taiwan, there are about 430,000 glaucoma patients, but the diagnostic rate among people over the age of 70 is about 50%. That means half of seniors with the condition don't know they have it. Now it's also being found in younger patients. Taipei-based eye doctor Ke Yujie says another major risk factor is nearsightedness or myopia, a common condition in East Asia.
We have a lot of myopic eyes in our population. For eye doctors, our worry is because we are facing an aging population and because of digitalization, so more and more patients are myopic. So it's definitely the prevalence of glaucoma will increase. In our daily clinic, some patients with 20 or 30s, they come to our clinic to want to make sure whether they have glaucoma or not.
Current glaucoma treatments cannot reverse damage to vision, but can stop it from getting worse. Still, a big problem, Ke says, is getting patients to follow instructions and use eye drops regularly at the same time each day.
If we have a better drug that have greater potency, greater tolerability, there will be definite way to persuade.
At the same time, Ke says eye doctors are switching their strategy, bringing in laser and surgical options earlier to give patients a better chance at getting glaucoma under control. As for getting better medication options, Chiang and her team's eye drops are still undergoing clinical trial, but they've already snagged the Global Edison Award for Innovation and caught the attention of patients.
那也会就是在展场，就是很想要把我们的眼药水当成是纪念品就拿走，但是这是不行。这也是让我们知道说，其实这个临床上面的需求，就是在一般的民众上面，其实是非常的迫切有这样子的需要。
Eye specialists are hopeful this new option will help thousands when it hits the market. Aside from meds, eye doctors still urge people to get regular checkups and also to look up from their phone and computer screens once in a while as the easiest form of eye care. Lucy Lee, Joseph Wu, and Joyce Sun for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Do visit our website or follow TaiwanPlus social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, come fly along with us to Spain for the European Balloon Festival. I'm Louise Watts. I'll be back with an update later.